Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
But I do believe when these foreign governments are loading up the entire Biden family apparatus with cash, they're not doing so to extract some sort of skill or service from these ne'er-do-well Bidens. They're doing it to influence Joe Biden.
Everything that you've described is an inference. It's basically saying, well, it must be, but there's actually you haven't actually given any proof of what you're alleging.
Okay, but so Abby, why do you think Burisma was paying Hunter Biden? Do you think they were paying him to figure out where to go buy crack in L.A.?
It just looks like Republicans are being mean to an addict, which is weird because it might be because Republicans are being really super mean, and all of us have either been an addict or loved an addict, and so. Yeah. I mean, you said I've been reading the transcript of the closed-door House oversight hearing with Hunter Biden. One of my favorite moments is when Biden responds to MAGA Bird, Representative Harriet Hagman, who has been goading him about his drug addiction with, I think there's a lot of people around this room who suffer from alcoholism that are still in this room and they're still functioning. I mean, and Matt Gaetz, Rapey McForehead, asking him, was he on drugs during, I don't know, were you on drugs during all your child sex trafficking? Allegedly. Or...
Okay, you're going to be accused of being like Kristen Welker now.
To say, really? You're the one who's going to ask me about drug use?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You, Matt Gaetz?
Yeah. But, you know,
Have you met Matt Gaetz? Matt Gaetz?
Yeah. You said Fallon says Joe Biden should produce a check to prove he got a loan, and Hunter Biden throws it back in their stupid faces. You guys have to be kidding me. He's released 27 years of his tax returns. You defend a man that won't release his tax returns and is the least transparent human being on the face of the earth in Mr. Trump. Not to mention, he's just been found guilty of a billion years of tax and whatever fraud, right?
Yeah, and Hunter Biden went in there and he kicked their asses.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
No wonder they didn't want it in public.
Yeah.
You know, he went in there and he wasn't like, it was like, I'm not going to take this crap from you.
Yeah. But you know what?
It was so great to hear him to read that and go,
Yeah.
wow, this guy's really smart and really good and had this amazing perspective on the meaning of family.
Yes.
And grappling with his addictions, and
Yeah.
it's like, this is a good human being.
Yeah,
you know?
like his dad. It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, can I just say, loved your piece. Democrats should go on the offensive against the Supreme Court. I'm looking at these thousands of people at the Navalny funeral and the courage it took to do that, in Russia. And I'm like, where are we? Where are we on this? I loved how you said, look, the Supreme Court is not some super secret cabal of demigods who fly above the filthy earthbound realm of politics. They are human beings who and fart and and you only need to look at the highly political negotiations behind the scenes when decisions are being made to understand that. And, you know, it appears we're ready for another one today. The boy can move fast when they want to install George W. Bush or make sure, Trump wins the primary tomorrow, right? I mean, it's... Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's the thing that should be going on now, is that Democrats should be saying that, no, this is election interference. This is by not rushing it, by not having taken the case when Jack Smith asked them to before the Circuit Court of Appeals, when he knew that they were going to take it up. It was like, all right, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
And, maybe he hoped that ironclad decision that was unanimous from the DC Circuit Court of Appeals would allow them to just say, all right, just let it stand, let it roll.
Can I just say we have a lot of fancy legal lads, legal analysts on it, but no one broke down the DC Circuit Court decision as well as you did. Just in layman's terms, you said, it basically said, no, you are not immune from crimes because you were president. You're what bull is that? Get the out of our court.
Oh.
Or words to that effect.
Gracious.
I think that was the best legal, summation of that.
Well,
ruling that I've seen.
I really do know the jurisprudence,
Yes.
What's below, the subtext.
You took the prudent out of jurisprudence. Okay, so you said, the judiciary is co-equal. Democratic leaders should act like it and go on the attack. They should organize protests, behave like the court has gone rogue because the court has, gone rogue against democracy. I mean, Rude, I was talking about this last night, that I know we all marinate in it. The fact that a convicted rapist that is out on bail on 91 counts, that has the Supreme Court making sure that we the people don't get these trial. And by the way, no one's saying he's innocent.
Right.
Everybody assumes, even people on his side, he's guilty. It's just he's above the law and he shouldn't have to be tried. Right.
He's allowed to do it. I mean, as much as we don't like Nikki Haley, even Nikki Haley's out there saying, yeah, we should know. We should now, of course, she wants that because she knows that the only path to the nomination for her is him going into prison or, finally just his brain just finally crumpling into the little tiny ball that it's inevitably going to crumple into. Which I hope happens during a rally. That's really what I want.
By the way, thank you. You also said make changing the court's makeup a focus of the 2024 election. Thank you. The court has decided once again to help out one side in the election of a president like they did in 2000. It's gotten political, so drag it off its pedestal and make it fight in the mud like the rest of the branches of government. And you say, sure, it might not have an effect on a decision, but it will affect how the decision is seen by voters. The court's already full of to the majority of Americans because of Roe. Those are great political points, Rude.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is you are able to frame the argument. You're able to say, all right, this is not legitimate. We are now fighting against both the Trumpists and the Supreme Court. And say, if you don't like this, if you don't like how this is going, there is only one way to change that and use it as a way of getting people out there saying, you didn't like Dobbs, you didn't like this decision, let's do something about it and, keep and expand the Senate instead of worrying about losing it.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you said you threaded. The Supreme Court is engaged in election interference by taking up the Trump immunity case at all, let alone not fast-tracking it. Of course the court should be affected by the election date. It's 9 humans, not 9 angels. They're filthy with the political ramifications of their action and inaction. And proving it probably again today. I mean, it's so... I think you said that. You almost have to admire how blatant it is. I guess they just don't care.
You do.
It reminds me of when Cheney, when they said the majority of Americans don't, think the Iraq war is wrong, and he's like, so? Right. That's, it's a middle finger to the American people.
Right. If you're going to be a mother effer, just be honest about being a mother effer.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's in the word is because they, they're mothers. So don't be surprised when they, they're mothers.
It's right there.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a mother effer, it means you F mothers.
Yeah. They telegraph it.
All right, on to the media. You said I love this. Everybody's all over the New York Times today because it's just like, oh God, another BS poll. And this New York Times headline: Donald Trump's hands-off approach to the Middle East conflict, blah blah blah, reflects. And you're like, it's not hands-off. He doesn't understand and doesn't give a right. I mean, it's just.
And I just want to read this New Yorker interview with Biden came out today.
Yeah.
And it's got this line, and you're going to see it a lot, where the person interviewing him says about Biden, for better and worse, he is a more solemn figure now. His voice is thin and clotted, and his gestures have slowed. But in our conversation, his mind seemed unchanged. He never bungled a name or a date.
Oh, please. Oh, dear Jesus.
And it's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Get him out there. Yes, he admitted, I talk slower. I move slower. Mm-hmm. So?
And by the way, Asen tweeted, wow, the crowd goes silent as a confused Trump says Putin has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word. And you said, we're up to around a dozen times Trump has said Obama when he meant Biden. Between that and the repetition of the word nuclear, he's clearly got something wrong with his brain. So obviously the media won't talk about it and still wonder if Biden is too old. I mean, this one, new polling among voters under 30 shows President Biden demolishing Trump by 26 points. Why is this story not covered by the media? Bob Schooley, one more. What if the New York Times polled, do you think a rapist disqualifies you from being president, and spun a half dozen stories off the results for an entire weekend? I mean, it is just the numbness is his biggest friend, isn't it? That we just, everything is normal now and nothing's normal, right?
Right. And although, Morning Joe today actually spent a segment talking about Trump's incoherence and the seeming times he shorted out.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that will actually get the media ball rolling.
Yeah.
Is this something that don't we need to be concerned?
Yeah, this one, George Conway tweeted, Dr. John Gartner, everybody's talking about, the mainstream media, quote, isn't covering Trump's cognitive decline like the 5-alarm fire that it is. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was talking about this, like, going to your other thread. Just, he's so dumb beyond the brain damage or whatever is happening, or the dementia. He's just the dumbest person. Like, what does he even mean? Half the things he says. I mean, this one you pointed out. This one again, he repeated the under Roe v. Wade, they had the right to kill the baby after birth. You said this is propaganda meant to cause violence. There's no other reason to keep saying this blatant lie. Everything he says is either a lie or completely incoherent.
Right. Or just completely dumb, which makes it a lie. First of all, even if you want to make the argument that in states that allow third trimester abortions, that they allow them to kill the baby after birth, that's not what Roe v. Wade said. Right. Okay. Roe v. Wade was very carefully crafted to say, here is the cutoff date that we're allowing. States, the rest of the time is up to you. Yeah. It's just error after error after error, and nobody cares, when he's talking about like, we're going to cut off federal funds to schools that require vaccinations. Really you want to go back to the measles, mumps, and rubella era? You want to go back to all kinds of diseases?
This one overall crime levels are dropping in cities that have received the most migrants. You said everything the GOP says is a lie. Start from that, and very little is surprising. So it's not just Trump. I mean, they just, how many times can we say it? Just keep putting it out there. The top 10, what was it, Jody? Murder, crime rates.
Southern states.
They're all red states, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.